Terry Daniher was an AFL discard at 20, yet went on to become an all-time great at his second club, and perhaps the most loved figure in the modern game. Welcome, TD.
How you going there, Mike? Yeah.
I knew you'd say something like that. I'm going well, Terry. Thanks for the inquiry.
Yeah, it's good to be here with you again.
How did you feel when you were at the Swans and you're 20 years of age, played 18 games in 1977, and suddenly you're discarded?
Oh, well, I was a bit delusioned, I think, mate. I didn't know where I was heading, but yeah, we had a couple of great years there at the Swans. Loved it down there. I must say, in arriving there, Mike, it was a big eye opener. You know, a bloke coming down from the bush. You don't have managers and things like that.
No.
Like
well, you came from Hungary.
From Hungary
in the Riverina.
Come out of Area Park, played at Area Park, you down there, and had a run around with them, and finished up in Melbourne. How about that? What an eye opener!
So one game in your first year with the Swans.
Yep.
18 in the second, including a final.
Yeah, my coach told me I was too knocked up. He wouldn't give me a game the next week, mate.
So what do you mean? What?
First game, and got through that game.
Yep.
Played in the mud, of course, against Hawthorn there at Princes Park, and now I got the tap on the shoulder by the coach in the middle of next week saying, you look a bit tight in the track, son, we better put you back in the second. So that's not a bad effort, is it?
But at the end of the second year, I mean, that's a good return for a kid to play 18 games and play in a final. So who told you that you were off, and do you remember what your reaction was like?
Well, the first time I had known about it, Mick, was when I was back home. I used to go home during the off-season, back to the farm and help out, and you wouldn't believe it, we come home with a load of hay. The farm, just on lunchtime, Mum was in town getting some groceries, and there was this car pulled up under the pepper trees out the front of the homestead, and he was sound asleep, this bloke in the car. Dad's got out of the old Bedford truck and banged on the roof and woke this fella up, and it was, I think his name was Kevin Dixon from the Fitzroy Football Club. And Kev was a recruiting man. He told us what he was about, and so he'd been given permission to come up to Hillview in Hungary onto the farm to have a chat to us about my footy future. And that's probably the first time we got wind of it.
So Kevin Dixon from Fitzroy comes up to see you with no hint to you that your future's in any doubt, and yet you end up at Essendon.
I think in the end they felt they needed a couple of experienced guys, to take them to the next step, and I was one of them that was put up for trade. So
the Swans wanted Neville Fields from Essendon, correct? Mm-hmm. Neville Fields was a very classy left-foot centre man.
Very good player.
Yeah. They wanted him, and obviously had to give something back, something up.
Well, it was a bit of a three-way deal from memory, and I think Hawthorn picked up Normie Goss. They on-traded, I think it was Bernie Jones and a bloke by the name of a good mate of mine, Scrubber Bennett.
Peter Bennett. Yep.
And of course, Neil was part of that deal. So the Bombers did pretty well in the end of it.
Well, I tell you, the Encyclopedia of AFL Footballers describes the clearance deal as, quote, one of the biggest clearance blunders in league history. Now, I know you're not big on stats, but I'll give you a couple of stats here. The Danihers, Terry, Neil, Anthony and Chris, played 752 games for Essendon. Neville Fields played 60 for the Swans.
We would have played a few more had Neil not done his knee, wouldn't we?
You would have,
and,
actually,
the boys missed a bit of footy.
How good was Neil? He played 66 games in a row and then did his knee and then had an ongoing history of knee problems. How good was he going to be?
Oh, I think he's nearly a better cricketer, Mick.
Really?
But, no, Neil had a lot of talent, so he should have. I bowled a lot of cricket balls at him and had a lot of kicks with him. I always had to make sure he was up the silo end on the farm so I could cut him off at the gate because... we love getting out in the paddock and having a bit of a kick around, and he got a bit sick of chasing a few of my balls, so I used to make sure I was at the house side of the paddock so I could keep pushing him out there. So, you're not going yet, I'm not finished.
Well, you had a cricket team, didn't you? You were the eldest of 11 kids?
That's correct.
7 girls and 4 boys?
Yeah, we were all still alive and kicking, going well.
Amazing that all 4 Daniher boys played league football and played in the same team for the Bombers at Moorabbin in 1990.
Oh, well, that's great. We all enjoyed our sport, and we were, we learnt to get out and get involved in any sport.
It doesn't strike me that you're big into nostalgia and history and emotion, that sort of stuff, but was that that had to be a special day for you?
Another game of footy, Mick.
That's all?
Yeah, oh, look, it was great that Neil fought his way back into the side. Chris was up and coming. Chris had to battle pretty hard to get there in the end, but it was an amazing effort to play 10 years of footy and play in a premiership side, 93. So Kev made him earn his stripes like he did with all of us, and so it was great from that point of view. You've got to remember, we played in we played against the Vics that same year up in Sydney in the SCG, and
how many Danihers in that
I made
team?
sure Teddy shouted us all after we knocked him off. Teddy
that was
Whitten,
that was it on a wet night, wasn't it? You were captain of New South Wales, yeah?
Yeah, we had a great night that night, mate.
How many Danihers were in that team?
4.
All 4 played.
All 4 had a run in that one.
Did you have any say in where you went?
Oh, when I come back to the club and I come down to the next year.
This is to South Melbourne?
South Melbourne.
Yeah.
The impression I got was that, look, we still want you, but, you know, we've just put you out there to, you know, see what happens. And so I trained part of the pre-season the next year, and obviously spoken to Fitzroy in depth, and to the point where I'd had a contract ready to go. And I was Frank Bibby. I told Frank I'd take the contract home and have a think about it and bring it back and sign the next day. But in the interim, I got a call from Essendon, and they wanted to have a chat with us, so I delayed the contract for a day or two, and had a yarn to Essendon, and they painted a pretty picture. So I thought, well, I better go out and check out what they got out there, and I was pretty impressed, I must say.
So was your father Jim? Did he look after you then, or were you left to fend?
Well, I spoke. Oh yeah, Dad had a hand in everything. You had to let him know what was going on, and yeah, he said, "Look, son, it's up to you. It's your decision, and don't forget you got Neil. Wherever you go, and Neil's going to follow." So
when you went to Essendon, and a deal initiated by the Swans, your dad said, if Terry goes, Neil's got to go with him.
Well, there was an agreement. He wrote down, he said, but listen, boys, if Terry doesn't hold up, or Neil's, I don't want me boys playing against one another. And if Terry goes, Neil's following. So there was a bit of an argument there for a bit, but Dad produced this little bit of paper stating that, and it was signed off by the club, so he covered himself pretty well.
Wow. How did the other 2 boys get to Essendon? I think it's great that you all played together, but were they drafted, or what was Anthony and Chris?
I think that Anthony got come across, the opportunity was there for the club to grab him, with, I think it was, salary cap problems, or they needed to release a player and that, so we're lucky to have got Anthony that way. Chris was untried. But I think Edna rounded Kev up one day in conversation and said, look, can you get all me boys playing together?
That'd be Edna Daniher with Kevin Sheedy.
Yeah, right, yeah. And Kev said, look, don't worry, Edna, I'll see what I can do. I'm the coach here. I might be able to pull a few strings for you. And now Chris come down, and we picked him, and it went on from there.
There's another Daniher now. It sounds like I'm telling you something you don't know, but Anthony's boy Joe. What are your impressions of him as an AFL player?
Oh, Joe's a player in the making. He's like all of us. He's got to carve his own footy career out now. It's his turn, and he's got to work at it, take the knocks, get back up.
But you've got to like what you've seen of him, though.
Yeah, look, he's got all the attributes. It's just a matter of working the game out, and obviously developing the confidence and the belief in your own ability to be able to carry out the job and play your part in the team.
Where's the left foot come from?
Oh, bugger do I know, mate. He just started that way. I think he fell off a swing and as a young bloke and lost a couple of teeth early. I don't know whether that knocked him around. He might have lost a few brain cells, but look, I think he just grew up, swung on his left, and he's always been a keen sportsman from what Anthony's told me. Loved his cricket, loved his footy. He'd play junior footy and then go and get the whistle and run the boundary for the older fellas. So, I think if they're good ingredients to have and to make you into a footballer.
You were an amazing player. I mean, you were resilient, you worked hard, you had a big engine, you were brave, all those sort of things.
Had to work hard, Mike. That's the secret.
But you covered a heap of ground, didn't you?
Oh, well, you cover the ground, you're not getting knocked over. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
you didn't mind that. You.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, look, I was brought up playing league and rugby and rules. It was just your upbringing, I think, Mike. It was funny, you know, like on the farm when you think back and you work down in back paddocks and at the end of the day, Dad and his brother Leo used to run the property and they'd sit there and plan their next day, leaning on a bloody strainer post at home, and I said, look, I can't sit around listening to you blokes yabble on, and I said, I'm going to start running home. So I'd rent a lot of miles down the roads and...
what was running home? What did that entail? How far?
Oh, look, anywhere from 5 to 8 or 9 Ks, I suppose, and just from the back block, and go home, and then the old man would always catch up with you about 3 or 4 Ks ago when he said, come on, jump in, son. Jump in the ute and I'll take you the rest of the way. And I'm nearly home, Dad, I'll keep going.
Wow.
But it's just the things that you did, I suppose, not thinking at all that you'd ever get anywhere, you know, where it'd take you.
And so then you come to Melbourne in the 80s, you're regularly playing in front of crowds of 80 and 90,000. Three grand finals in a row? 3 grand finals in a row?
3 grand finals in a row, we did too. Oh, we have what, 83, 84, 85,
Yep. The 2 flags, you were captain of those 2 flags. Obviously the highlight of the playing career, I suspect, isn't it? Yeah,
that very much so. I think, Mick, you know, when I've always been involved in, you know, team sports and that, it's great to, you know, that's the pinnacle, I guess, is getting to the top of the hill. And I've been pretty lucky all throughout my career, really, even starting in, way back in 74, you know, to win a flag at Hungary, to get that opportunity, and then head down to, we should have won one at the Park. We got bowled over in a preliminary final.
The Park would be Area Park,
Area
right?
Park, Maroon, and then went down to Melbourne, and of course the road was pretty long. You know, we had to, you know, it was a long road to get another opportunity. So they're all pretty special.
When we come back, the 1990 Grand Final. Tell me how the Terry Daniher way of upsetting opponents was. What was that? What did that entail?
Oh, well, you obviously you run them around a little bit, and then you niggle and you do what you got to do to probably...
Bit of physicality?
Oh, there's plenty of that used to go on.
You
can use elbows and you can use knees and stomp on blokes and give them a little nudge here and there, break a few rules, you know, while you could get away with it. You did whatever you had to you know, to get a player offside.
You were rightly seen as a ball player, but you weren't bad. You knew how to handle yourself in the scrimmages, didn't you?
I think everyone did back in my time, Mick. I was no different to anyone else. And... you did what you had to do, and you know, you had to get a job done. And once she was out there, mate, she was full on. Yeah.
So you say you did what you had to do. I want to take you to the 1990 Grand Final. Mm-hmm. When you hit Gavin Brown, is that doing what you had to do?
Oh well, it was just one of the, you know, it was a moment in footy that, you know, probably I regret a little bit. I regret more that we weren't more competitive on the day. You worked damn hard to get there and for things to work out the way they did.
There's Brownie after you've tangled with him.
Yeah, he should have got up. He was a bit slow getting up off the track. That wasn't how the script was supposed to work out. But look, it was unfortunate. But
tell us what happened.
He clipped one of my mates, and I just squared the leg. Simple as that.
Did he hit Kieran Spawn?
He give Kieran a bit of a whack behind the ears. He got 3 weeks for that. So he turned around, shaped up. So what are you going to do, Mick? I'm going to let you hit me, or do I get him before he gets me?
There's 2 blokes and there's been a major incident. You still exchanged the handshake afterwards?
Mate, well, you were taught like I was, Michael, that after a game of footy, win, lose or draw, whatever happens in it, mate, you put the hand out and say, well, you know, you're too good for us today. And, you know, he was either going to shake my hand or not. And, you know, look, Gav's... he's a person of good stature, and you know, he was right. He was happy, mate. He's got the medal.
Yeah, sure. But were you playing back that day? Because Gavin Brown was full forward, wasn't he? Yeah. So you were playing.
I was playing full back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the ball is up on the wing, wasn't it?
It was up on our half forward flank.
And so,
by memory.
So what happened then?
Oh, Gavin was pretty hyped up.
Yeah.
And as you do as a defender, mate, he's treading on toes and you're moving him around, and he was a bit quicker than I was. And he was in pretty good form, so I had a role to play, had a job to do, I guess. And
do you regret that?
Regret what?
That you whacked him?
Oh, I probably regret it because I missed half a season next season.
Yeah. See, and I think that the sad thing was...
I missed playing football. You
Sure,
know.
but if there's a sad... I mean, you didn't deserve, I don't think, to have that sort of stain on your record. You got 12 weeks. Now, 12 weeks indicates a serious misdemeanour, doesn't it?
Oh, 12 weeks is 12 weeks. I missed a footy. So that's how I think of it. I don't worry too much about anything else. But
have a look at that, TD. That's a picture of Lethal that we rarely see. Like genuine anger from him there, and it's directed at you. That was at half time, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was a bit fired up. He's their coach. We're alongside we're in the old Melbourne and Richmond change rooms from memory. So he'd had a few words to say. So I said, "Yeah, let's settle down." Mate, we've got half a game to go yet. You're in front.
You sure that's what you said?
We've got a game to win. I might have put in a couple of little other additives, but I can't mention them on screen.
No, we're a family show, TD. Yeah. Now, you've gone 2 years later. The interesting thing about that, after a massive career, 300 plus games, but you finished your time in red and black playing in a reserves grand final. You didn't have any problems with that? I mean,
I was... the only problem I had was that Kev wanted me to play under pressure of the crowd. I think our supporters wanted to see Simon Madden and Terry Daniher, and Tim, although he was retired, didn't play, but they wanted to see us run out in the last of the home and away games against the Cats. And I felt at the time that I didn't deserve a game. I wasn't playing well enough in the seconds anyway, so I argued with Kev for a while, and he said, "Listen, we're playing you." And I had a pretty average game anyway, and chipped a bloody bone off my shoulder. And
so you played round 24?
Yeah.
And that was the finish of the season for the senior team?
Yeah, we were out then, and Dennis Pagan tapped me on the shoulder there training one day and said, "Look, if you can get your wing right, are you prepared to... would you ever think about playing in the seconds final if we can get all the way through?" And I said, "Look, mate, I don't mind training." And they worked their way in, and then he come to me and said, "Look, you're right to go." And I said, "The shoulder's right." And I had a couple of training sessions with him. But when he announced the side, the team was announced, and Kev's called me into his office and got stuck into me because he reckons I was, I've had my run and all this sort of stuff, and he said I was depriving some young bloke from having
Did he really?
Having a bit of a run out there, which is fair enough too.
So we're talking about the grand final here. This is
seconds,
the curtain raiser before the Geelong West Coast game.
And I said, "Well, Kev, you're going to have to talk to Dennis about that. Don't talk to me."
You're disappointed that Sheeds took that attitude?
Not at all.
No?
I can fully understand why Kev would be thinking along those lines. He's thinking about the future, the club. Yeah, I'm an old has-been. I'm finished.
Tell me about your relationship with Kevin Sheedy. I mean, it's ongoing. I know he was at a family function recently. He coached you for the bulk of your career. Has it always been harmonious with Sheeds?
Oh, of course not. You have your moments with Kev, and I love Kev for getting us to a premiership, really. And developed us into a successful team, and. He was a hard taskmaster, and he taught you what, he just kept reminding you about being competitive and what you had to do and, to get there. And it was through hard work and working as a team and not letting one another down. And look, he had there's a funny side to him and a serious but sometimes ruthless side to him. And you never really got close to Kevin. He was always on the move, but he kept training very entertaining, and he'd move things around. He'd swear and curse under your sweat at times with some of the things he made you do.
But I thought you would have sort of lapped that up.
I enjoyed it,
yeah.
But some of my teammates didn't.
Yeah.
But he was an interesting chap, and I'm sure he found some of us guys pretty hard guys to work out too.
Well, he made you captain.
Well, I only got captain because unfortunately Neil broke down and with knees, and then Simon didn't want it, I don't think, and Tim Watson didn't want it.
Is that true? They didn't want the
I don't know. Tim didn't want to do it, I don't think.
Tim was captain of Essendon?
Eventually, yeah, but he didn't want it at the time. He's probably enjoying his footy.
Yeah.
Simon, I don't know what Simon was doing, but he tapped me on the shoulder one day and said, "Listen, mate, we're thinking about making you captain." I said, "I don't want to be captain. I'm just starting to play all right, you know, and I'm enjoying my footy." And he said, "No, we want to make you captain." And I said, "Well, what's the captain got to do? You know, just keep doing what you're doing." Plus the fact, I think, you know, like I enjoyed my teammates' company and loved getting out with Billy Duckworth and Daniher and Hawker and Madden.
Any beers involved with those blokes?
Oh, many a beer and many a story. And,
you're famous for your alcohol consumption in terms of having beers, right?
Yeah.
Is it fact or fiction? I mean, did you?
Oh
drink?
no, I think that's probably a little bit of fact in it, but I think you enjoyed a beer at the end of the day, like hard work. It was bred into me up home, really. I think from back in the days when I was only a young teenager, you know, a young bloke just out of school. You know, it was the thing you done. You went and you know, you played out of places like Four Corners. There wasn't even a shower there. You had to come back to the local pub to have a scrub, and then you'd get straight into the pub for a few beers, and that's just what you did. So, to me, the game from that point of view has never changed, Mick. You know, like it was all about and like a lot of my teammates, I made a lot of friends in football. You know, with other clubs and, you know, your Carltons and even though we're arch enemies and that, but we got a very good respect for one another. No different. Yeah, everyone liked a beer, we liked to party. Well, most of our games were Saturdays, so, you know, we could get out and enjoy the VFA the next day and other things that went on.
Tell me about during the week. Would you have had a drink the night before a game in the 80s?
Oh, yeah, I was working, mate. And, so as I just spoke to you a minute ago, if you after a hard day, I didn't mind. We always had a long neck in the fridge.
You've played with a lot of good players over the journey. Is there one that stands out?
Oh, obviously Madden and Watson. Yeah, Madden stands out for his longevity. You know, he's a very good player. Played a lot of football, Simon, and you know, and people have got to remember, you watch Madden and Watson and all those blokes that played in the game for a long time, had to endure a lot of, you know, getting over, you know, you play with sore spots and injuries and carry stuff like that. And that's why winning flags is most enjoyable, or if you can stay in the game for a long period of time and you look back and think, well, geez, how lucky was I? And, you know, geez, wasn't I glad I played in that game if I've had a bloody bit of a cracked rib or something like that, and you got through. You knew if you got hurt in the first moment and you were straight off the ground, you let the whole team down. But to get through, you used to take some punts when you played footy.
Can I ask you about? There's a sensitive issue. I want to ask you about Neil, the health of your brother. Neil's got motor neurone disease.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've spoken to him about it, but did the family talk about it, or is it something that you've just lived with now?
No, look, Neil, look, I think he's got it's a bit of a challenge in front of him, but look, he's fine at the moment, and he's going well. We don't speak an awful lot about it. There's not a lot to say about it. We've all of the understanding. We know what it's all about, and he's so we're just there to support him. But at the moment, he's fine, and everything's going well. Neil's always he'd have a good head on what's in, you know, that he knows. He would have researched it, done everything.
Yep.
So he understands what he's got, and you know, but it's a pretty hard card to be dealt. You know, but mate, other people have got it, had it, and but he's in. You know, he's just got to get on with life, mate. And enjoy the time. West Coast Eagles have been terrific. You know, and supporting him over there, and he's got plenty of mates, and we're all there for him.
TD, it's been a great career, and watching you from afar, it looks like you've enjoyed every moment of it. But is there an event or an incident or a moment that you've regretted?
Not really, no, not other than the 1990, that we spoke about, that final. But all in all, no, it's been great. You know, it's just been great to. Would have been nice to have played in probably a couple of more, pinched a couple more flags. Michael.
Two's not enough?
Two's not enough, no, not with the side we had. But it was just unfortunate the way it worked out. But, for a team, we reckon we worked darn hard to get to where we got to. And So, but that was, you know, but still, when you look back, you know, just the week-to-week challenges, that's what you live for. You know, I'm just glad that I did the work that I did, and you know, to give me that opportunity, and that's what it was from. There was no plan in place, you know, to make it. Although we all aspired to get to top level footy, there was no real plan. It was all through luck and probably the hard work you did behind the scenes that sort of got you there in the end.
I can't think of a bloke I'd rather spend an hour talking footy to, TD. It's been a great career. We've all admired the way you've played it, and you are generally, I think, probably as popular as any bloke in the modern game. So well done on what you've done, and good luck for the future, mate.
Good on you, Michael. Pleasure having a chat with you, mate.
Thanks, mate.